Welcome to Maranatha Minute with Bishop Richard Frank. Maranatha Minute is a production of Maranatha Ministries, UPC. For the next 5 to 7 minutes, Bishop Frank will talk about various topics that will help and encourage you in your walk with God. Your comments are both encouraged and appreciated. Be sure to like us on Facebook, and follow us on YouTube, and be sure to click the bell so you'll always know when we go live. Now relax, and be blessed by this week's version of Maranatha Minute.
And welcome to all of you. So glad to have you joining me in this new time slot. Here we are in a new time slot on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, and that's going to be the new time slot going forward. However, it is not going to be weekly. We are changing our schedule. I did put an announcement post up last night, but this is going to be permanent going forward, at least permanent in the sense of until we change it. There's no plan in sight at this point. In case you did not see last night's announcement, Sister Janae Gardner is going back to school. She is going for her doctorate. She is going to be Dr. Janae Gardner, which is very impressive, and we're so proud of her. As a result, her schedule is pretty tight, and so she doesn't feel she could do a weekly live talk, although we've enjoyed it so much. But her and Shoshana are going to continue on doing every other week. And so we're going to slip me in the odd weeks, every other week, also on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock for Life Talk. Or I'm sorry, for Maranatha Minute. So we're going to have Maranatha Minute one Wednesday, Life Talk the following, back to Maranatha Minute, back to Life Talk, back and forth we'll go, going forward for the foreseeable future. Looking forward to it. And actually, it's best because we did leave Wednesday nights open in our church scheduling. There's no life groups. There's nothing that takes place on Wednesday night. We did that so in case we had an online presence, people could do it without having to, miss a life group or not be part of what is going on. And if you're not in a life group, talk to Sister Shoshana, or send an email to just send it to pastor@mmchurch.com. I'll make sure it gets forwarded to Shoshana. And we will get you involved with a life group. They're tremendous. All right, let me get into tonight's Maranatha Minute discussion because I do want to just take a minute. But just before I get into tonight, we're going to talk about. We've been talking about Christian paradoxes, and we have talked about finding by losing. We've talked about receiving by giving. Tonight we're going to talk about being exalted by humbling ourselves. But just before I get into that, I want to tell you a quick story because. My son Jameson reminded me of what he did and what he does, which I think is phenomenal. It's even a step above what I do and what I've talked about. I talked about, giving the girl or the guy at the drive-through window of a McDonald's, a little bit of money to go get something to eat on their break, and someone put a post up what a great idea it was. And I said, it doesn't have to be $20. It doesn't ever have to be $20. You don't have to give to keep up with somebody. Give them $1.50 to buy a cup of coffee. It's just a little gesture of generosity goes a long, long way. But don't be stingy. If you've got it, $20 is a lot of money to me. I'm not rolling in dough. I could use $20 for a lot of things, but I wanted to bless somebody that particular day, and not just that one time. I do that as often as I possibly can. But my son Jameson takes it one step further, which I am going to certainly now consider doing. We went down to Famous Lunch in Troy. He, myself, and my grandson Grayson, Jameson's son Grayson. Fourth generation to eat at Famous Lunch in Troy. My father ate there as a teenager. In fact, we took my father there, and he was telling us how as a teenager he used to sit at the counter. So my father ate there. I ate there. I brought Jameson there. And now for the fourth generation, Grayson is there. A week or so ago, I forget what day it was, Jameson had a free night, and I had a free night, and he called me up and said, "You want to go out with me and Grayson and get something to eat?" I said, "Sure." So we went down to Famous Lunch in Troy. We got those little miniature hot dogs. And we ate, had a great time, wonderful times spending with my family. And on the way out, Jameson paid for the meal. And then he handed that. Now, in this case, you can do it. You can't do this at every restaurant. But in this restaurant, you can do it because the guy standing there collecting the money and making your hot dogs owns the place. So because he's the owner. It's a very small, family-run business. And he handed the guy the money for our bill plus a generous tip, and then he gave him a $20 bill. I think it was a $20 bill, maybe more, but at least it was a $20 bill. You know what he said to him? He said, "Take this and pay for someone's lunch that comes in here that you think needs it." He said, "At your discretion." He was leaving it to that gentleman as his clientele came in to look at somebody and say, "That guy needs a break, and we'll cover it with this $20 this guy gave me." I thought, what a way to take it to the next level. But obviously, again, you can't do that at a McDonald's. Say, "Here, give this to somebody who walks in," because that person's just going to pocket it. But in a small family-run place like that, you can certainly hand a guy that money and say, "Here, use this for somebody that comes in here that looks like they could use a meal without having to pay for it." Great. Kudos to you, Jameson. So proud of you. So glad to see that kind of generosity. All right, let's quickly get into this lesson tonight. I'm going to just talk quickly about being exalted by being humbled. I want to read from Matthew chapter 23, verse 12. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled. Whoever exalts himself, go around bragging about yourself, so someone's going to come along and humble you, because there's always going to be somebody better than you. Don't ever forget that. There will always be somebody better than you. So he who exalts himself is going to be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. I'm reminded of the story that Jesus talked about coming into the feast and taking don't go right up to the top seat. Don't go right up to the main seat, because they'll walk up to you and say, "Hey, someone greater than you is here. You got to move, and you got to go from that great seat down." Jesus said, "Come in and take the lowest seat," so that they can say, "Hey, come up higher." Humble yourself. Always humble yourself. Don't exalt yourself, but humble yourself. Take the low road, take the low position. And when I say take the low road, I don't mean doing nasty things. I mean take the lower position. Let people decide that you deserve greater. You don't have to boast and brag about yourself and talk. You and I are the same way. We can't stand listening to people talk about how great they are. Can you stand that? I can't stand that, but I can sure listen to somebody talk about someone else, how great they are. I can't stand listening to someone, "I'm this and I'm that and I'm so great and I'm so smart." It's just, I can't handle that. But if someone says, "Boy, this guy, you need to listen to this teacher, or you need to read this guy's book. This guy's phenomenal," you love that. Let another man praise you. In fact, that's a Proverbs chapter 27, verse 2. Says just that, and I'll wrap it up with this. Let another man praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. And you know what? That scripture right there, that's Proverbs 27:2. A stranger, how's a stranger going to praise you? You must have had to do something for him. You must have had to take last week's lesson and been generous with him in some way. It doesn't always have to be money, You don't know, money is not the only way to be generous. You can be generous with compliments. You can be generous with kindness. You can be generous with all kinds of good things, good qualities, good attributes. Let another man praise you and not your own mouth. Let a stranger praise you. How would a stranger ever praise you? Because you've done something good. You've lowered yourself below them and lifted them up and made them feel good about themselves, rather than trying to make you feel good about yourself. You gave them something. You took something of your own and put it into their hands so that they could be blessed with it rather than you. Christian paradoxes. Beautiful, aren't they? God bless you. I hope you do a little research on your own. Pray about these things. Give and you shall receive. Let another man praise you, not you yourself. Whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Think about these things. Pray about these things. And put others first. Bless others. Give to others emotionally, physically, financially, however you can. Lift somebody else up. Amen. God bless you. Love you. Appreciate you. And I'm so glad you understand our scheduling situation here. But for the future, I'll say unforeseeable future, because we don't know how long this will last. It may revert back. We don't know. Right now, we're going every other week. Maranatha Minute, Life Talk. So tune in next Wednesday night for Life Talk. God bless you all. Thank you for being with me tonight. I hope these short messages about these various topics are a blessing to you. And I hope I'll see you this Sunday.